What's up, everybody? This is Mike Manzer with another Manzer Faust Productions video, and this is something I've been working on for a while. So I hyped it up yesterday, told y'all I have a surprise for y'all today and tomorrow. I will review what I'm dropping at noon tomorrow on this channel at the end of the video, so stick around if you can. But I think you'll want to, because this will be interesting. I've done a few of these label spotlights in the past. I did one on Havoc Records, Revelation Records, and there was another one I did. Great intro. Anyway, but I wasn't really satisfied with those. I feel like they were kind of just sloppily thrown together. Could have done a little bit more with them. Could have gotten a little bit more into depth. I don't know. Anyway, I've been wanting to do, through that series, I wanted to do this very badly. I wanted to focus on a Connecticut label, close to home, but something that was before my time, that definitely inspired a lot of my musical taste. I had a lot of great bands, a lot of interesting sounds, a lot of variety. Yeah, I ended up the last couple of months getting the 2 or 3 albums that I needed in my collection. I'm excited to bring you a label spotlight on Eugene Records, a Connecticut label from the 90s out of Meriden, pretty much run by Bill Chamberlain of the Pist on guitar. You'd have Al and Rich and other people coming through to help with releases and work, but it was mostly, Bill Chamberlain's kind of brainchild for the most part, and you get a lot of great early 90s Connecticut punk rock. More, you got some stuff going into Oi, you got the classic, fast street punk kind of stuff coming out in the early 90s. You got some really interesting, like more experimental hardcore kind of stuff. You got some really good, like anarcho, crust punk kind of sounding stuff. A lot of bands taking influence from stuff like Dirt and Subhumans, Amoebics, all these great bands from the 90s. And, a lot of sounds coming out of New York, like Nausea, or even some of the New York hardcore kind of bands. Really interesting mixture of bands on this label, and it really does have a snapshot of all the different things that were going on in Connecticut at the time. Really great snapshot of everything that was happening around this scene. And some stuff, from Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and places like that, which, everybody was kind of working together, moving around. That's what happens. So I thought it would be really cool just to dive in here, talk about these releases, shine a light on this kind of early, like predates me even. But these are records that I'm definitely passionate about. And even the ones that I wasn't as familiar with these last couple of months, digging back into them, man, a lot of these kick fucking ass. So really, really great stuff throughout this video. So let's start off with Eugene 1. This is brutally familiar, commonly known as the TV Land EP. What I love about Eugene is the kind of uniformity of a lot of this. So you have the little mailing address, pretty simple logo in the corner most times. Just your basic fold-out sleeve. And you really get a lot of influence from places like Crass Records over in the UK. Also, Revelation, a lot of the early crust punk kind of stuff coming out on Profane Existence, and even Spider Leg, which was releasing a lot of like Subhumans, that kind of stuff. A lot of crazy labels from the 80s would inspire this kind of art, real DIY, just throw it all together. That like that kind of idea was definitely followed through with a lot of these bands, and you had a lot of people playing in multiple bands. They moved back and forth. Really cool kind of vibes. Brutally Familiar is interesting because they have a little bit more of like a rock and roll kind of vibe to them. At times, the singer Rich also played in the Deacons with Al from the Pist and some other members throughout these bands. If you really want to pick up a really great 7-inch, find the Deacons Chelovic 4 split. Really great stuff. And the Deacons have much more of like a kind of standard punk rock, a little bit of rock and roll kind of vibes to it. Just great fucking bands. Brutally Familiar is much more kind of the straight ahead hardcore punk. A lot of you hear a lot of Nausea and that kind of late 80s, more kind of ABC No Rio style hardcore. Kind of going into like anarcho crust kind of stuff, but not quite. It's kind of playing that line pretty well. And this is just some real great catchy stuff. Not as strange as some of their later material would become. You don't have as many like weird kind of sounds and time signatures and stuff like that you would get on some of the later singles and 7-inches from this band. But TV Land, just great, solid, catchy song. Cops Suck on the B-side, really fun, just sing along. Punk rock anthem. And Graffiti is definitely one of their best known songs, one of their best songs in general. This kind of self-worship, be your own God. Why rely on like some religion or some deity that might not even exist to save your soul? Like, save yourself, be there for your community, and fight for what you believe in, and fuck religion trying to tell you have to go by these rules, you have to live by this kind of doctrine. Because it's all kind of bullshit. You don't know what's after this. So I really love that song. It's just so iconic. This band was just cranking out so many good fucking songs in the 90s during their time. So yeah, Brutally Familiar, TV Land, EP. Their name will come up again in this retrospect. Up next, one of my favorite punk rock 7-inches of all time, especially out of Connecticut. This thing is just amazing. Just one of the best, and probably one of the top 2 or 3 of this label. It's really hard to choose because I really love this entire label. There's so many great releases, but this is one that is probably my first exposure to Eugene Records. That is Destroy Society by the Pist. Iconic artwork on that cover. I love it. Got the nice live shot back cover. The Pist, don't really think I need to say much about them. Talked about them in the last video with the new record that just came out. And the promotion they're doing for that record, just amazing. Have not missed a beat after 27 years of not putting anything out. Just killing it. And this is just iconic fucking record. This so, like, every single song on this is an anthem. We're the Pist. Just the great kind of, sing-along chorus. A great message throughout, come together. Fight those, like, the real enemy, those in power, just try to, like, keep us try to keep us on the grind and everything. Like, we don't need them. We got each other. Let's come together. Let's fight for what we really believe in. Needless, great kind of animal rights, vegan anthem, talking about how, like, mankind just constantly abuses their ranking in nature, you know, the self kind of proclaimed ranking in nature. You know, we're willing to just like use up every resource and kill off every other living creature on the planet for a little bit of convenience, for a little bit of like, you know, kind of comfort. And we're just exploiting each other and everything around us, all our resources, everything, just exploiting the planet pretty much into extinction. And it's such a powerful song, really great, like kind of bouncy bass line. Really great. I love Al's lyrics. His songwriting is kind of different from a lot of these kind of bands. It almost, I don't mean this to sound insulting, but it almost sounds kind of like a punk rock lecture. Like he's putting so many different ideas. You got the basic kind of idea. Textbook salvation. It's about how like the you know, to this day we have this education system that is very much kind of built around learning from the book and memorization. You're not really truly learning anything. It's all kind of propaganda and memorization. When you go out there into the real world, you're not really using a lot of this stuff. If you're not willing to teach us about the real life, then what are we learning about? It's just great lines all throughout this, and you really get this kind of intelligence from this band, like just so well read and thought out. The lyrics are just amazing. Destroy Society is just an anthem, like just amazing. I don't need society. That kind of, you know, you have it all throughout punk rock. You have it. We don't need society. We got each other. Let's come together, fight for one another, respect one another, give people the space to stand up and fight for what they believe in, to scream about what they believe in real fucking loud, that kind of thing. And it's just a great song. All these are just great sing-alongs, you know, pile-ons at shows and everything like that. It's just such an iconic band. One of my favorite bands of all time. And this is such an important release from them. Just an amazing record, amazing collection of songs. Destroy Society. Up next, this is kind of a new one to me. I never picked this up back in the day. It was actually kind of difficult. I had to get this from the Netherlands. I had to order a copy from there. But I'm happy that I got it, because this is some real good early 90s, like Oi, kind of precursor to stuff like, like the Templars and the Anti-Heroes, like that Oi that's kind of got like a bit of a clean guitar. It's not overwhelming distortion like a lot of the punk stuff. It's more just kind of like, it's not quite completely clean, but you got that kind of jangly kind of sound you would get with those bands later on, or around this time, I should say. This is official Hooligans with Campus, I guess it's considered the Campus Safety record. You got 3 songs on it, just really catchy, just anthemic. Oi, Campus Safety, just kind of this like lament on the campus security, harassing people who aren't even part of the college, not even part of the campus, everything like that. Just very relatable for me, living in like, you know, New Haven, and it's like outskirts. You have to deal with that shit a lot. Yale is just like fucking terrible with that kind of shit, and you know, so I really like that song because it's definitely relatable. It's just like a ton of fun to hear them talk about that. And you know, like I said, this is from the 90s, so the fact that this is still a force that like we need to fight against and is still pretty much as fucked up, if not more so, as it was back then. So and then side B, just some real great punk rock, rippers, brain removal, just kind of fun. I don't need your brain removal. I don't need your approval. Like that kind of fun, kind of goofiness. It's just a great like fast sing along kind of song. And Darby Crash, I want to die like Darby Crash, kind of thing, which is fun. Yeah, it's just it's not too deep. It's not as deep political kind of diatribes as a lot of these albums, but really solid fucking record. And I've heard that they have a CD or a record of all of their material. I have not looked into that quite yet. But yeah, this is a solid 7-inch. Really cool. If you get the chance, pick it up. Next, number 4, we got another Brutally Familiar with Ashamed to Be White, and this is probably one of my favorite 7-inches. You got Ashamed to Be White, Yawn, Broken Bones, Act Now, Stop the KKK. I love this cover imagery. Very cool. I don't know who did this. But definitely some great artwork on there, and just such a good song. It's right there in the title. You see everything going on around you. Are you gonna just like sit back complacently and let this take over? Give in to the white pride kind of fucking power structures in this country? Are you gonna stand up and take the power back and give it to the people that are out there fighting? Are you gonna stand up for your marginalized brothers and sisters? Are you gonna take these stances? Are you just gonna sit by idly? Then fuck you. And that's why I really like this song in particular. It's just such a powerful fucking track, and just like a lot of stuff that like Brutally Familiar would put out, it's just like their name really sells it, because this is some brutal, aggressive, in your face fucking jams all the way through their discography. Just so many good fucking songs. Broken Bones, just such a great fucking thrasher of a track. Yeah, more great Brutally Familiar material. Not much more to say. Up next, we got a split between the Pist and Malachi Krunch. Malachi Krunch features Jim Martin, also of Broken, currently of why am I blanking? Chemtrails. Been in a few other bands as well. The Pist side on this is fantastic. We got For Every Action, True Love, and Mutual. More kind of jams. The song I really love on their side is True Love, which is kind of this, you think this girl like owes you a bunch of stuff. You don't care about her. She's just another kind of trophy for your wall, to quote the song. It's just like such a great like anti-entitlement, like these kind of guys, like you would call them like pickup artists these days and stuff, that feel like they're entitled to a girl or they're entitled to a woman, and just whatever she thinks and whatever she has in mind doesn't matter, just as long as they get her, and that's all they care about. And it's kind of these scumbags, and I love this cover image. Spit right in your face, which is taken right from the song. It's just like, I'd love to see her spit right in your face. Just such a powerful fucking song. Also on this, on their side, you have the track Mutual, which has this kind of it's like, you hate me, I hate you, we both hate the world, we can't see eye to eye on anything. It's got this kind of like, we're battling each other, this kind of motif that runs throughout the Pist kind of like discography of like, why are we not coming together? Why are we fighting each other? There's a bigger enemy out there that we're not focusing on, and we're just fighting about petty petty scene politics and bullshit that doesn't really get us anywhere. So I really love the message of this song. It's a great, once again, great anthem, great sing along. But you know, you actually get into the lyrics and the message of it. It's fantastic. And the Malachi Krunch side is really good too. Just real fast, straight ahead, hardcore. Jim was also in another band called Baltimore Footstompers, which shockingly did not have an album on Eugene. I thought they did. They did not. But bringing up Chelovic 4 again, if you get the chance, pick up the Chelovic 4 Baltimore Footstompers split. Fucking solid stuff. So, yep. Great. 7-inch again. Up next, this is another one of my all-time favorites. I remember finding this band, finding out where they're from, and finding out their kind of history. I was just like, God damn, this is fucking brilliant. Going more into like an anarcho, a little bit of crust punk. You got some elements of Nausea, Blatz, Dirt, the UK anarcho punk band. You got the great like dual vocals, male female vocals, which was kind of a new thing at the time. You had a lot of bands kind of in the anarcho crust scene doing that. Again, Nausea comes to mind. A lot of Punx, Lost, and this thing is just so much fucking aggression, just pummeling fucking record, real lo-fi, just get in there, bang it out. Fan-fucking-tastic record. And this is probably like one of the more like kind of lo-fi kind of sleeves that they had on this label. Just damn, this thing is just punishing. Trying to remember the songs. No Brother just has like this great like just kicks in the high gear like right away. They have some kind of like tempo changes on here as well. That's pretty cool. Goes back and forth between like, you know, lightning fast to these kind of like mid tempo like kind of parts. The vocalist is just out of his fucking mind. And you have a song like I think it's Fuck Chuck, is just like the female vocalist hits these high ass fucking notes. It's just like insanely high pitched vocal. It's so fucking good. Like it's insanely heavy record. And pretty much the one that always stood out to me is I Am Your God. This slow kind of almost like Misery style kind of bass intro, real gothy post-punk kind of sound to it, and then just kicks into like this thrasher, I am your God, living up above, worship me, follow me, give me all your love. Just fucking killer fucking record. Just does not let up, and it's a classic of its time. Just fucking-tastic EP. I love this record. And the fact that they were coming out of Enfield, when I first got to Connecticut, I was looking up a bunch of bands, and this is one of the ones that came up as kind of like, you know, legendary Connecticut punk bands. And Enfield, man, that kind of just blew me away because, you know, I was from Springfield, so Enfield was like right fucking there. I used to go there all the time to get records at the music outlet, which I heard is gone. They lasted a long fucking time, so R.I.P. to the music outlet. But just hearing anything coming out of Enfield, especially in those like early 90s times, like just fucking out of this world. And to have it be this fucking good and this fucking powerful of a record, this intense of a record, very fucking cool. So definitely highly recommend checking out Lost by the Vomit Punks. Just iconic record for me personally. Up next, continuing on like the kind of anarcho, a little bit of crust, you know, Blatz, Dirt, definite Dirt influence even. This band would go on later on. Their next 7-inch, I believe, was a split with the band Dirt, which is really fucking solid. But this is iconic in its own right, and that is Mankind. Won't you join the army now so you can fight and you can die? Just powerful, powerful stuff. This features Al from the Pist on bass. Really, really terrific stuff. As you can see, I am rocking this shirt, and we have the fold-out kind of poster, definitely taking from those classic Crass, and even later on stuff like Os Rotten and Behind Enemy Lines. These kind of bands that would have these like fold-out posters. Very great artwork with the Atom Bomb, Mushroom Cloud, Broken TV, kind of battlefield kind of motif. Just fucking ferocious fucking record. Just great catchy kind of songs. But dude, visceral and like venomous as fuck. Like very urgent kind of quality. You just can't deny how great these fucking songs are. Find Your Future, with the, won't you join the army now so you can fight and you can die. Just like incredible. Seafull Vows, really cool. Just this kind of like kind of not anti-marriage, but anti the idea of like you are property, you belong to this person, you are like, you have no life but serving this person. That kind of bullshit. Gender role kind of, patriarchy bullshit that we're all exposed to even to this day. Really great fucking song about that. Like, you don't belong to these people. You are your own person. So, very powerful stuff. Very great. Like, again, great lyrics. The delivery is fantastic. The musicianship on here is just fucking solid as usual. Really great. Fucking 7-inch for Mankind. If you love stuff like Dirt, Nausea, definitely worth checking out. Next up, this is another one that I always knew of, but I never owned a copy of. So I was really happy to get this recently, and that is Progress, On the Rise Again. Very cool. And this kind of reminds me of more of the style of this band. I don't know if they're very well remembered. I can't remember where they're from. I feel like Portland, but Axiom. They put out a record on Tribal War called Apathy and Privilege. Really great album. I've showed it off here before. And while this is a lot more of the kind of like fast street punk with anarcho vibes to it, the kind of guitar sound, the tone of the guitar and what they're playing does remind me a lot of some of the stuff on the Axiom records. And they had a couple of 7-inches as well. So like that kind of reminds me of what they were putting out. This is just fucking solid, visceral, anarcho crust. Really simple, really scathing. You have a lot of influence from like Conflict and Icons of Filth, that classic early 80s anarcho punk sound coming off of Crass Records and Theologian. Fucking really great songs throughout this. I'm trying to remember where these guys were from. It's got this crazy sticker in here. God damn it. These guys are actually from New Jersey, so not a straight up Connecticut band, but still, dude, this is some fucking solid shit. And I feel like it might fall under the radar, and you could get copies of this on Discogs for like $1. you know, usually they're like $1 a piece. Like, so if you do see this, just take the chance, pick it up. It's a fucking ripper, man. I really love this record. I'm happy to finally like have it and become familiar with it, because man, there is just some fucking great stuff on this. Really solid. Next up, more so in that, you know, classic kind of, you know, crust punk. Kind of reminds me a bit of stuff like kind of the early, late 90s, early 2000s stuff coming off of Havoc. So stuff like The Murderers, or you know, that kind of faster scum punk kind of stuff. But this is, you know, much more in that anarcho crust space. And this is Punkture. Hell yeah. Just great imagery. You got the punk rocker with all the zines and everything charged out. Really fucking cool. Great artwork. You get the live shot. You get some thank yous. Everything. That really great artwork throughout this. Very cool. And this is just, you know, amazing, fast, fucking ruthless anarcho punk rock, visceral as shit. You know, you do have a little bit of that early 90s kind of street punk kind of feel, but this is definitely straight up like something that could have come out on like Profane Existence or even Havoc and fit in perfectly. You also get this awesome little booklet with some animal liberation, food not bombs information. Awesome stuff. I feel like you could still kind of get this. I haven't checked in a while, but once again, you love like Os Rotten and that great stuff coming out of Pittsburgh in the early 90s, coming out of Minneapolis, any of those kind of bands. This is definitely worth picking up. Fucking amazing stuff. So this last release, it's kind of weird. It's not like part of the Eugene run. And this is kind of a strange release because it's part of a box set, which I will discuss in a future video. But I wanted to bring this up because, again, it's the Pist on one of the sides, and they just have really great songs on this side. Yeah, so the Your America split between the Pist, and on the other side is Unseen Noise Death, which I'll talk about in another video. That's like a whole another thing. You get the really awesome artwork. And on this record, you got Freedom of Choice, Anti-Human, and Your America. I believe Freedom of Choice is Right to Choose. Great, 3 amazing fucking songs. This is up there with like Destroy Society, and every single one of these songs is a killer. Your America, just a great anthem, like your idea of like patriotism and like the American dream and all these other types of constructs throughout our time are fucking bullshit. You don't need them. Stand up and shout and talk about what real reality is, what's really important. You know, people getting messed up on drugs and just checking out of society, checking out of reality. Like, do you really want to be one of them? Do you really identify with a lot of this? That's kind of what this song is about. It's just very powerful, straightforward. Your America is not mine. Don't waste your breath. Don't waste my time. Don't give me this kind of like ideology of this is what true Americanism is. You know, kind of this shameful fucking tradition that we've had to deal with throughout our lives. So that's a really powerful song. Right to Choose, great. fast, pro-choice song, you know, talking about how we have the right over our bodies to make these decisions. Again, you want a song that is still just as relevant today as it was back then. Right to Choose is definitely to the top of the heap. Just, we're still dealing with this. A couple of years ago, we just had this Roe v. Wade type of thing. Not going to get too political. I try not to do that on this channel. But man, this song will speak for me. You know, it's just such a powerful anthem for the pro-choice movement. And like I said, very much still important today. Still a message that needs to be talked about and discussed and fought for. You know, these, you know, women, especially like poor, disadvantaged women who don't have access to a lot of these things, especially in states right now that are just getting denied coverage back and forth. Again, I'm getting political, but just an amazing song talking about this kind of stuff. And it's just shameful that it's still something we need to talk about, but it's great to have music like that to, you know, shine a light on it and be a voice for those who might not have a voice otherwise. And Anti-Human, another great pro, you know, animal liberation, I guess vegan, you could say. This kind of, we use up all our resources. We're just constantly maliciously just taking advantage of everything this planet provides us with. And you really just look at a lot of like our kind of just entitlement and like over abuse of nature, and you're just like, man, fuck these people, fuck humanity. Like, it's really kind of disgusting. And, you know, it's a bit edgy, I guess you can consider it, but man, what a killer fucking track. And all three of these are just great portraits of like what made this band fucking amazing, and how they're able to take these kind of broad topics and bring in so many different pieces of information and insights and kind of ideas into these songs, and have it still be a fast, you know, anthemic punk rock banger. Just amazing. I cannot say enough about how great the Pist is. And with this new record that just came out, just never missed. They're just killing it time after time after time. Just never get sick of this fucking band. And so much respect to them. So, like I said, this isn't an official release, and it's kind of a strange release. And like I said, I'll go into this more in another video, but it came in this box of the Pestilence box. This is put out by Ryyvolte Records in Brookline, Massachusetts. And what's weird about this box set is, I mentioned the Unseen Noise Death on the other side of that Pist 7-inch. Well, this is a bunch of weird kind of stuff. You have this little fanzine talking about, you know, supporting DIY music and their kind of mission statement. A bunch of different, you know, essays on being punk and all that kind of stuff. You got a great 5-inch from Rupture, great power violence grindcore early on, coming out of Melbourne, I believe, Australia. You got Mass Control, great fast D-beat, 5-inch, pretty solid stuff. You pack a lot on that 5-inch. Got Resist, great Portland members of Defiance and bands like that. Really great fast street punk, anthemic. Pneumatic Values, more kind of crusty, fast, anarcho, rage and shit. Deformed Consciousness, Terminal Disgust. So you get kind of a theme here. A lot of that crusty, a little bit of power violence, a little bit of street punk, kind of a mixture of things. This effect, but like I said, with this effect is more just kind of like Profane Existence style, kind of fast anarcho crust. You got Bizarre Uproar, and like I said, with the unseen noise death side of that Pist split, Bizarre Uproar, like, kind of a weird band. It's power electronics. Having them on this is kind of strange with all these like kind of anarcho kind of bass, like street punk, punk rock, crust, grindcore kind of bands. I guess Rupture would kind of fall into a weird spot as well because they tend to not be as leftist or anarcho in their lyrics. Kind of fall into a bit of that. So I'm going to do a video coming up on this box set because I just find it really interesting. It's at a time when you would just have a lot of these bands just recording together. It's before the internet, so some of the more sketchier stuff, like Bizarre Uproar, you wouldn't be able to like really look into it. You wouldn't know quite who you're working with. So it's kind of an interesting sort of, you know, time period to look at. So yeah, eventually I'm gonna do a video on this. So look out for that. The fuck is going on? Hold on. I'm not editing this out. Gonna leave it in. I don't know why this is happening. Holy shit. What the fuck? What the fuck? Wow, that is weird. So I have something I gotta take care of in the house, but gotta finish this up. So tomorrow at noon, we got huge interview coming out tomorrow at noon with Bill Chamberlain and Al from the Pist. Talking about Eugene Records, talking about the new album, talking about all this great stuff. I am really fucking excited to dive into that. So yeah, get excited about that. Tune in at 12 tomorrow. Did it a few weeks ago. Really excited for you to finally see it. First interview, gonna do more in the future. Got a few in the works. Really excited to do this next step on the channel, do something new. So yeah, if you have not subscribed yet, I definitely suggest doing that. I've been putting out a lot of videos lately, been cranking them out. So really excited to have more come out your way. If you like this video, you have history with Eugene Records, go down there into the comments and let's talk about this. Let's reminisce on this great label. You want to find me on social media? Find me at the Hordes of Manzerfaust on Instagram, and my kitchen is underwater. It is crazy, but I wanted to get this done. So yeah, this is Mike Manzer with another Manzerfaust Productions video, and stay fucking metal.